This one is, when I saw this, it's kind of surprising. Browns have a 70-30 pass-run ratio this season. It's the highest pass rate in the NFL. When the Browns go under center, that's only 34% of the time they run the ball, 70% of the time on those. The predictability kind of destroys the play-action success that we saw in Kevin Stefanski's offense with Joe Flacco, which was kind of carving up secondaries. It does explain some things. The bigger question is, why has the offensive line struggled so much this season? Is it because they're asking different things of them?
I think that's part of it. Plus, there's been a bunch of injuries across the front, and that certainly hurts the offensive line performance and production. I would say those stats are interesting. Certainly the 70-30 when the Browns had been, a lot closer to 50-50 in Stefanski's first four seasons. Now, part of that is a designed plan to go more passing, right? We've talked about that a billion times. They wanted to open up more. They wanted to take advantage of Deshaun Watson's skill set. So that was part of it. Then, they've been trailing all year long. So that leads to more passes. You don't have Nick Chubb. So that's another reason why you're not running the ball. And they didn't have a lot of success running it. So all those those are all factors in that big discrepancy. Where I would quibble a little bit is, I don't know if you need to. I think if you're under center and you run play action under center a bunch of times, or you're under center and you run it a bunch, like I think you can be productive with play action whenever you run it. And I think there's stats that prove that. You don't have to be a great running team to be good at play action. You just have to have the play action element involved. And I think the Browns are getting back to that. That was missing when they were spread. It was missing when it was shotgun into Deshaun Watson. Now with Jameis Winston, you've seen them gradually go back to more under center, more play action, and the return of Nick Chubb, healthier offensive line. I think all of it contributes to what they hope will be an improved run game going forward. And I thought we saw improvements against the Saints, and some against the Steelers. They scored a couple rushing touchdowns. Nick Chubb had some success in short yardage when they needed it. So I think there have been strides made.
All right, so here's the question, and they're not going to ask you or I, but if they asked you, should we go back to the quote-unquote Kevin Stefanski offense moving forward, or should we stay with this spread-out thing where we're trying to throw the ball more?
No, I think you go back to this Kevin Stefanski play action. If it's mid zone, wide zone, whatever, some combination of that plays off it well. Um, and it made sense when they went to the more spread system because of Deshaun Watson. But, I don't think Deshaun Watson is going to be a starting quarterback next year. So you got to go with what Kevin Stefanski is comfortable with, what he trusts. Now, that doesn't mean you run it 70 times a game or 70% of the time. Even when they were running it, the top two or three teams in the league, they weren't running it. It was just probably under 50%. They were probably running 45% of the time, I want to say. So you still need to be dynamic in the passing game. You can't get away from that. But I just think that system is proven in this league. We see it with, San Francisco runs it. Miami runs some element of it. Um, the Saints run that because it's the Kubiak system. Like, you just see all these teams that have success. Matt LaFleur with the Green Bay, like, they all run some variation of this system. So it's proven. Kevin Stefanski's good in it. I think most of your roster is built to run that successfully. So yeah, I would go back to that and then figure out how to maximize the passing game off of that.
Yeah, and I think the most important part of that is Kevin Stefanski understands how to fix that when it goes awry. I think we saw this year they had no answers when the offense was struggling earlier with Deshaun Watson. They just didn't have the answer on how to get it right, and that's a concern moving forward.